In this video, I am going to start talking about the main part of your song, which is called the chorus. This is where most of the energy of the track is happening. This is where you use one of your hooks, you use your leads, you use your main drums, and you have to be careful to not overcharge it, but you can still continue to build the chorus over a repetition or two like you did in the verse. So in this track, what I will do is basically just delete the previous chorus, and we are going to build one from scratch. So let's say this one is where I have all my elements from the composition session. So I have a bunch of stuff going on. I have some drums, I have some pad. Now, how do I make this into something that is powerful enough to represent the main part of my track, but at the same time not overcharged, so you can make it progress over the duration of the track to not just bore people with a single short overcharged chorus and you have all your elements, no more surprise, and then you can just go on to the outro, but your track is only 3 minutes long. So basically I would just put the normal kick bass. And depending on the elements that we've introduced in the intro and the verses, I will show the full potential to the people right in the first chorus. So now we can introduce the snare basically. We can put the main drums, we can put the ads. I'm not going to take everything that I've done here because it's already pre-made and I don't want to show you something that is already made. So I could basically take, what is this? I could make a lid with this probably. I could make some perks. Yeah, so important. I can recreate this one. And we need one of your main lead. We need something that's happening right now. This would be fine. And then maybe this kind of stuff. Basic soul riff that you can find in most Psytrance. So this is still the verses, going on to the chorus. Yeah, there is already something. I'll put a crash, obviously. So we have the verse now. This is maybe a bit too muddy, so it's kind of overtaking the kick bass right now. And I want it maybe a bit shorter. Yeah. What I'm trying to do is mostly not overcrowd some frequencies that you can see here in the chorus, because when you overcrowd too much of the main frequencies, then suddenly you're not able to tell things from things apart. And so basically listeners, or even yourself, will lose the focus on the elements you want to present as the main elements of your song. And that is a problem, because the chorus is where the hook is going on. This is where you remember the track. This is where most of the energy is happening, and you don't want to mix everything up to have this kind of muddy version of your track and just lose the power on certain elements because they are overshadowed by other. So I'll just do this one for the highs. the drums. Works. This is a bit too loud. This isn't bad. This is the kind of stuff that is overshadowing my hook. So I have this huge So FX lead, and this coming up is just making too much information to this section, so you suddenly lose focus on the first lead. So maybe I can just bring it later in the chorus and maybe have it replace the lead just for adding a nice change. Like this kind of stuff. And I can bring slowly in the track. Maybe not cut it so suddenly, so I could put a bit of delay. And I think it's not too bad for the chorus, but it might miss some atmosphere to fill up the space because it feels kind of raw right now, which is fine for a verse, but a chorus has to be a bit more full on energy and stuff happening. It has to feel more full in the spectrum. So I could use some pad, maybe, yeah, maybe this kind of stuff. Lot lower in volume though. And do a little riser here. Miss some hats. The drums are a bit empty right now, the drums section. Yeah, this is fine. Chorus. Hear the drums going out right now. So yeah, basically that's how a chorus should be. It should be precise. It should be showcasing the main hooks and the main elements of the track and be the most energetic you can do. You don't have to do a single type of chorus. For example, in this track, I don't have one chorus repeated, which can also be fine in many tracks. But I had fun by doing different types of chorus, which were all separated by bridges, and every type of chorus would showcase a new element while still presenting cohesion with the main track. So this one was like basic and groovy. First main hooks was this. the kind of growly, bassy lead. That's where most of the emphasis is put, on the kind of dubsteppy growl. And then I had this one, second chorus, which was the one with the so FX, the so lead, classic sharp Psytrance FX lead. Combination of two leads right here. And then I had the third chorus, which was a complete change of the rhythm, because I went with triplets, so 3/4 time signature. And basically, it can count as a bridge, but I see it as a chorus because it's a full, complete part that is still using the elements from the previous choruses. So it's just sudden change of chorus. It's fine to do. You don't want to do it too often, because if you do it too often, you can lose the listener in their attention. So you don't want to change parts again and again and again. I mean, you can do it if you do it well with cohesion. It's fine to do it, but if you do it too often, there's a high chance that you will lose the listener's attention and just lose the progression and the entrancing kind of vibe that gives Psytrance music or Zen music. And yeah, and then the fourth chorus, which was basically the time where I introduced my 16 space. So a bit more similar to Psytrance, more focused on the rhythm, less stabby, high energy FXs, and more focused on the pads and the atmospheres to kind of introduce the end of the tracks, like the peak of the track going onto the outro. So yeah, that's about it for real. The most interesting stuff to do with choruses is, again, I'll repeat, focus on one main hook, one main lead to present the most high energy that you can find. So that's the moment where everyone is blasting. It's after the verse, before breaks. It's basically the central point of the track, and that's where you bring most of the rhythm, you bring most of the drums, most of the fullness of the drum. So if you have layered snare, you can bring the full snare. When you have gaps between your main leads, you can fill it with some smaller FXs that are not as big as the one you used in the verses, because you don't want to shift the attention of the listener from the main hook to these FXs. So it's kind of a way to fill the gaps in your leads and just add some more elements to kind of play with the listener's brain. And basically use atmoses, pads, or noises in layers to increase the sense of fullness in the background. So this kind of stuff, or any kind of long pad and atmos that are not too loud, not too violent, not again shift the attention of the listener, but to bring more fullness to the track in the background to kind of feels more complete and wide. So that's it for how to create choruses. The main point of this video is to explain that there is some objectivity to have in how you create them, like how to put the emphasis on the hook and bringing the most energy of the drums and the most rhythm. But it will highly depend on the story you want to tell, as well as the elements you've composed before and the way your track sounds like. So maybe your first chorus won't be as high energy as mine, but would be instead focusing on more melodies, on more atmospheres, and that's really up to your preferences. But the objective thing is you have to have one main element to put the emphasis on, the focus on, and you don't want to overshadow it by using too much elements in a single chorus. So if you have two main elements that you want to present, maybe you could do it in a second chorus or later in the first chorus. And now we can talk about what I put between my choruses, which are breaks or bridges.